Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this weekly spirit guides message, we're gonna see what are the energies that are in this week for you guys and how you can utilize them for your greater good and to becoming a more joyful being. That is what I channeled for you guys, that I'm gonna start to do this weekly spirit guides messages as long and also the monthly spirit guides message in order for us to transition into this new era in a much more effective way, because I know a lot of you guys are really shifting and transforming and are in need perhaps of guidance, but not anymore with pick cards as we used to be, which is quite scary because we always want to have some messages that are target for you, and I'm gonna arrive to that in a second. But we're gonna do this not anymore in a predictive type of way, though prediction possibly are gonna be there for the majority of you guys still, but we're gonna do this to elevate our consciousness, to become more joyful, more proactive, even in a way to actualize what we have learned and to become more joyful beings in and of itself. My beautiful earth angels, because that is what the majority of the people that follow me on this channel are. You are earth angels. You came here to assist in the planet for the betterment. You did it in a very grounded and intelligent way and not just saying it, and we are all in this together, united. So I'm very proud of this community. I'm proud of all of you guys. So shout out to all of you for transitioning with me, because I think we did a wonderful job lately, and I know how much you guys are personally struggle in this period. No matter where you are in the world or even personally, I know a lot of you guys will resonate with this. So this message will cover primarily, I'm looking at the phone, I'm looking at the calendar, will cover primarily from the 23rd to the 29th. So I am recording right now on the 19th, and I am addressing this no matter where I'm going to post it on the next week. Though keep this with a pinch of salt, because what angels always tell me, what spirit guides always tell me, that messages are timeless. So if you are watching this video perhaps before or after this week, it means that you're meant to hear that message by the time that you're watching, especially if it's resonating with you. And even the time of some of the energy updates that I will give can be extended on more than 1 week. It really depends on your life, on how you're going to resonate. That is why this is more efficient than pick a card, because you can resonate with the entire message. The majority of you probably will. Some of you might resonate with the first part or the second part. Some others of you will resonate with one sentence, and that is perfectly fine and all in divine timing. If you want to address a more specific message for you, I want you guys to choose between the first part, which is going to be handled by my tarot deck, the second part, which is going to be handled by my Cosmic Love Oracle deck, and the third part is the Power deck, which is a very deep deck and channeling experience in a way. So I want you guys, if you want to focus more on a specific message, a specific question or energy update that you want to receive, I rather you choose one of this deck, even though you don't have to. Actually, if you follow the entire video, that will be very useful for all of you guys, because we are doing a collective energy updates from and a spirit guide messages. Okay, before we start with part 1, or what it will be considered part 1, I'm going to draw a message from an angel oracle book that I use personally almost every day now. It's giving me so many satisfaction, because you can really give a conversation with your spirit guides and let them answer you with the angel oracle book, and it's super easy to use. You can find it on Amazon and Amazon Kindle if you guys are interested. So what is the message for this week? What is the message from spirit guides, angels, from this week? You're never alone. You never were and never will be. This is a very, very strong message that I think it's very important to hear right now. I don't know which part of the world you guys are. I'm in Italy right now, and I live in the lockdown pretty much. I live in the epicenter where the outbreak has started, and I know for a fact that many people are feeling alone. We cannot hug each other, we cannot travel, we cannot do and live our life how we used to do. And this is a time, yes, for isolation, for the better, but it is also a time where we come into union with ourselves even more, when we come into union with our greater understanding of the world and of ourselves, and therefore we become more whole, and we understand that we are not indeed alone, that even through distance, through physical distance, we understand how much that is illusionary in and of itself, but moreover that we are not separated from ourselves, from our higher self, from God, from the universe, whatever label you want to put into it. And I think one thing is to say it, and another thing is to actually experience not being in separation, which has been, in my perspective, the theme of this 2020, is to gather what we have learned on a theoretical level in 2019 and even prior to that, and really put in what we know into actualization. But what a task for humanity, and what a task for ourselves to really find constraint into four walls and to really practice what it is not to feel alone, to really have that experience of oneness and unity and wholeness on a practical level. You're never alone, and never in truth will be and ever will be. And you have the chance right now not only discover yourself, but also discover the connection with all things. Because just by virtue of sitting in the midst of the stillness, you can become an eagle. You can become everything. You can travel with your own mind around the world and in different worlds. It is possible, and it is available to you at this time. It is available not to cultivate delusion or to cultivate false imaginary, but is available to make you understand that you cannot be alone. You cannot be separated from infinite awareness, because you are that infinite awareness and that extension of it. But you become that infinite awareness when you let go of old attachment or false identities, and you understand that you are being beyond your mind, beyond your body. You are infinite. And to perceive this infinite being, you have to go within. You probably have to do it through isolation, because the paradox of this test is that through isolation you understand how much deeply connected you are. And that's why people go to ashram. You have the chance now not to even have to go to ashram, have to go to a secluded and isolated places like monks in Tibet perhaps. You can do it right now, in this very moment, in the comfort of your home. You can have a deep spiritual experience that will lead to profound upgrades, enlightenment, and awakening and epiphanies. You can do it this week. You can do it right now and anytime. You just have to choose it, and you will do it. Now, with that being said, let's see more on a practical level with the tarot. What are the energies of this week from your spirit guides, and what is the prominent message apart from the one that I already channeled? So I'm going to shuffle the cards at least 2 times very quickly and see what's up with you guys and with all of us, really, in this very, very edge times, can you say? These are scary times, but at the same time, I think we are transitioning from being afraid to understand that we don't want to be afraid, and therefore we can be excited for the new. It is all a matter of perspective. Where do we want to stand? Do we want to stand for fear, or do we want to stand for how can I help? How can I be better? Even in my own personal life, how can I help with this transition? Maybe I can donate money to doctors at this time. Maybe I can make the shopping for some people that are in difficulties at this time, that they cannot go out from their home. I can give myself love and care, which is something that I have never done before. How can I be helpful in this moment? How can I be helpful to the transition? Will make you transition from fear to positivity, but more than that, to higher vibrations. We have, in fact, the Eight of Coins. I am not even surprised. This is a time, yes, I'm going to say it again, of isolation, but with the Eight of Coins, this is a time to study. This is a time to, maybe for some of you who are entrepreneurs or are a YouTube channel, you have your own shop, whatever, online, it's time to dedicate to your work, to show that life and the show must go on, indeed. Or for some others of you, this is a time to maybe choose what type of study you want to do in the future, to choose how to prioritize time. Where do you want to dedicate your time? And if you are in confinement, how can you utilize this time for the better? Now, I'm sure not the entire world is going to be in lockdown, though with this energy, it feels like the entire world is. But there is definitely an energy, no matter where you are in the world, of stay there. There is nowhere to go. There is only time for witnessing. And this is the last sentence that I have channeled in my channel message in February, which is very, if you're going to listen right now, it's going to resonate so much with what is happening right now in the world. That is crazy. There is nowhere to go. You can only witness. And when there is nowhere to go, you can go within. You can study. You can understand better what you truly like. You can transition. You can do so many things. And this is really the time to utilize that time to open the book and open your mind as well to new possibility. We also have the Queen of Wands, which has been a recurring theme, the red dragon coming and to help. Maybe is our awareness of the dragon that will also change, and the very fact that will bring also new technologies to the world, that will bring new things that we didn't expect even in the way we live. It's a very intense time. Now, on a more personal level, the Queen of Wands represents you taking charge of the situation. You becoming the leader, becoming your own fire. You don't necessarily need the support of others, which you're going to have in the future, but you don't need that to feel the fire, to feel the passion within yourself. The only thing that you need is your choice. So it's a test of choosing where you want to go, even if when you cannot go. Some others of you, which probably will be people that are not going to watch us stick around with this video, but you're going to witness that outside of yourself, that would be absolutely a better description, will fall for the entrapment, will fall for the illusion, the devil card. Many devils are being arrested, are being condemned, are being discovered. There is a lot of disclosure that I believe this energy is bringing. A lot of pain, a lot of sorrow, a lot of fear. But with the devil, we know how much the devil is a master of illusion. And we are going to see that. We're going to see people not being able to respect the rules. People that are not going to be able to go beyond the illusion. They still want to live in that reality. They still want to live in the lower vibration. They still want to live in those old ways. And those are the people that are going to struggle the most. If you resonate with this energy, remember that you can always make a different decision. And the different decision will be, I am choosing to liberate myself. I am choosing not to stay in my comfort zone. What I knew, it's no longer. And if I don't know, I'm going to stay quiet and allow the universe to bring me new ideas and new possibilities, so I'm going to see the future. Otherwise, I'm going to be trapped in my own self-entrapment. Very, very challenging, mystical times, we could say. I'm going to drop the last card from this deck because I don't want this type of weekly prediction, or rather weekly spirit guides message, to be too long. Why? I never was a fan of talking too much and doing less. I am a fan of straightforward messages that don't sugarcoat anything, that arrive directly to what is needed to hear them, and then later on we go back to stillness, or either we go back to action. We take them and we utilize them. And when we talk and make videos that are long, like an hour or two, it's very likely that we become lethargic, and it's very likely that we're just going to hear so many words, we don't have the time to assimilate them, and we're not going to do half of them. So I'm trying to keep everything short. The Fool card, number 0. The Fool card is taking the leap of faith. We don't know what the future will bring. We don't know. Nobody knows. Not even astrology, not even people that tell you that they know. Nobody knows, because the future is not predetermined. The future is a collective choice that we're making in the present moment. I can literally do a tarot world prediction and see a list of 5 different outcomes. It will all depend on our responsibility. It will all depend on our personal action. What we know for sure is that the world will change. What we know for sure is that we are changing. What we know for sure is that we cannot go back. And with that being said, we need to become strong. We need to become courageous and take a leap of faith. And for me, at this point, it's very obvious that the only way to make this shift is to follow love, is to follow what matters to us, even if we don't know if it's gonna work or not. Because nobody right now, especially, is gonna give us the security of knowing what it's gonna go next and whether or not your decision is gonna be for the better. You will know internally, but you won't have certainty. The Fool card. Jump and know that the angels know that the universe has a safety net for you, and has a safety net for the people who are not going to choose corruption, for the people who are not going to choose to lower their self down to compromise, for the people who are not going to choose to follow money, greed, lust. It's going to have a safety net for the people who are going to choose love. We're going to choose integrity. We're going to choose honesty, authenticity, and especially to follow their passion and to follow what they really love. Because altogether, taking this leap of faith, we will create a different world. A world where kids are not going to be raised anymore thinking you have to fit in a society and you have to do this job. They're going to do, I'm doing this job, I'm going to become a doctor because I want to become like those doctors that saved life in that very historical moment. I am proud of what I'm doing because it's a call. It's not just because I'm earning money. This is how the world is shifting. Obviously, I'm not going to deny that with that Fool card, with that 0 potential, there is the potential to also shift in the world in a dark age. There is the potential shift in the world into we are locked, we are afraid, there's nowhere to go, I'm going to give my power away. It doesn't have to be that way. It cannot be that way if we follow what we love. And this is the lesson of the Fool, where when you have to start from 0, what do you want to follow? If you only have today, what do you want to do? Do you want to follow a lie, the lie of the devil, the lie of keeping you caged and locked into fear and illusion? Or you want to follow the soul that always knows that no matter what's happening, it's going to be fine. No matter what is happening in your outer reality, you're going to be fine. So this is the first message that I gathered. Very, very interesting. Let's see now with my Cosmic Love Oracle deck, what else can I gather for you guys for this week as a Spirit Guides messages. Let's see. I am seeing number 3, so there is a lot of emphasis on creativity, a lot of emphasis in the realm of imagination, something that I've been saying over and over again. And as you can see, guys, thank you so much for following me on my journey in drawing, and I hope you can learn something too as well, because through drawing, even if you don't have to become an artist or through any artistic abilities, we can bring clarity to our brain, we can set ourselves free, and it's truly therapeutic, no matter whether or not you're going to become a professional about that. Because again, this era, it's not about thinking what your career will be, but it's about I am doing this because it feels like a call for me. I feel I'm becoming useful for this society. I feel this is what I need to do. This is what I want to do. Let's see what else. Don't be afraid, even though these are challenging times. The lies. And again, this is a great card to look ourselves and the people around us in our personal life, but to also look at the society and the world. And this is the Devil card again. Beware, not everything that glitter is gold. Seek for the truth. Now, we're seeing with this 2020, like I said many times before, a deconstruction of old foundation, the tower moment in and of itself, where things that really don't serve, the lies that we have been sold, are going away, possibly for the better. But even some of our belief system that says that you're toxic if you're addressing some political problems out there, you're toxic if you're listening to certain music, or you are lower vibrational because you're just expressing how you feel. Those are all false beliefs that will never serve anyone, and definitely won't serve in this very moment where we have to become honest. We have to become authentic and recognize that the human experience is about mastering emotion. Therefore, having a shadow self, or therefore feeling sometimes low, is perfectly all right. It's challenging, it pushes away from our comfort zone, and therefore propagates and emanates growth in and of itself. But also the false belief, I'm going to have these views, these followers, this job, this career, and I'm going to be set, I'm going to be happy. Most of the time, what happens is that when people reach that point, they understand, why am I doing this? Am I doing this because I want attention? Am I doing this because of the money? Or am I doing this because it really matters to me? And we go back to the same message. This week, it can be utilized as an energy to seek for the truth. Now, obviously, this is going to be for some of you also. See the truth in relationships around you. See the truth in love relationships. See the truth of people around you. But especially for the majority of you will be aware. Not everything that glitters is gold. It's not because once upon a time you thought that that type of lifestyle would have been amazing for you. It means that that is exactly what you need and what you want right now, what your soul urges. So in this time, we are all seeking for the truth. We are finding our truth, and we are going to see a lot of a disclosure more and more in the years on a more collective worldwide point of view, we could say. Let's see another card for this weekly update. Positive intention. This 2020, or whenever you're watching this video, is a very karmic event. Whatever your intentions are going to get manifested. It goes without saying that your positive intention will ensure the best possible outcome. This is not because you're forcing yourself to be positive. If you are enduring this period, this purge, this cleansing, you know that you have realized what were the lies, you have realized and forgive yourself for where you were feeling, and you are reacting positive. That is empowering, that is part of growth, is to look of all the cluttered, cleansing it, accepting it, being aware of that, and then putting a positive intention for the future that then later on manifest, because you're free, you're energized back, you're not simply bypassing or suppressing. If you're resonating with this, well, definitely everything will be fine. You are one of the people that will lead through example with these positive intentions, that will lead through example and showing other people that the show must go on. We can have an inner renaissance and then later on an outer renaissance. It is already happening. If you're one of the people that study, like we were seeing before, are looking into history on what were the theme in periods that are similar to this, keeping in mind that right now the time is faster than ever before. Therefore, we are not going to take 3 years to get into the renaissance. We're going to take a year. We're going to take a year and a half maximum. Time is faster than ever before right now, even internally, even geographically, meaning, in other words, on planet Earth, how the Earth spin is faster than ever before. Let's see what else from my, we also have, in fact, spiritual vibes, spiritual epiphanies. We are all transcending to a different level of consciousness. Because do you know what it is to really have a new Earth? It's not just society, it's not just on a practical level, but it is first a different human, a different consciousness. It is all starting from you. It is all starting from your mind. It's never outside of you. And when humans will understand that to have a new earth, it's a process of consciousness, we will actually see it. And potentially we're going to see it. On a more personal level, you are understanding so much about yourself, having spiritual epiphanies, finding even mentors, counselors that are going to give you that spark that will later on translate into an action that will lead to positive outcomes, like we were saying before. Higher learning. This is a time to study. Go really deep into your core, into this transcendental research that is the research of ourself, like Sant'Agostino liked to say. And it is really about studying to connect even further to your divine purpose. Higher learning and spiritual epiphanies, seek for a mentor or a counselor at this time. This is a good time to ask for a consultation, for a healing session, even done through distance. It is really a time to cleanse yourself privately, with groups of people around the web. It doesn't matter what it is your personal preference, but you are allowed and you can definitely do that. Perhaps you were interested in starting art. Perhaps you were interested in to start a form of meditation, a form of yoga, or a form of a spiritual practice. You can do that. Or for some others of you, you can teach that. Whatever it is, you are getting that spiritual deep knowledge. And I am seeing also in this 2020, in this very energy, the prominent, almost we can call it revenge, but let's not address it that way. That's only my interpretation, because every channeler has their own filters, you know. We are never, it's very difficult not to have those filters. So that should be the goal. But the revenge, the rise, a better word, of the feminine energy. The feminine energy is Shakti. Shakti in Sanskrit means energy, means the energy that creates universes. The Gnostic used to talk about God as Sophia. Sophia means wisdom. In fact, philosophia, from Greek, philosophy means love for wisdom. The energy of the Shakti, the wisdom within ourselves to create. Because without wisdom, Sarasvati, you cannot create. Without knowledge, you cannot create. Or with the wrong knowledge, you can create something destructive. It really depends on you. So through this inner study, you are understanding what you want to create next. Let's have the third part of this reading, the spirit guide message, and let's see what is. I'm going to pull 2 cards from this last part and see what is the permanent message for this week. And we're going to see each other on the next video. Will probably be the monthly for March, and probably other updates for the weeklies, but definitely the next video that I'm going to record is the monthly. And if you want a private reading with me, the link is down below. Centering the Buddha. What a beautiful card. I hope you guys this camera is gonna focus. This card is absolutely amazing. It's a Buddha in the middle of a modern city. And is it not what we are manifesting? A Buddha, Siddhartha, the enlightened individual that went away from his castle, from his luxury, saw pain and sorrow and become enlightened in the middle way. Understanding his own way of enlightenment. The Buddha inside of an American city, inside possibly what it is, Las Vegas. If you are in Las Vegas, this message is for you. Finding enlightenment. I also see a ring light. Possibly some of you are YouTubers. But finding the enlightenment in the midst of modernity, in the midst of isolation and huge technological jump. Isn't that true? So what this card is actually saying, we are finding our center. We have mastered as humanity the realm of materialism, the realm of capitalism. We have learned a huge important lesson. We shouldn't regret that. That has led us where we are right now. But now, where do we want to go? Where do we want to be centered? It goes without saying that we are heading somewhere new, even though we are surrounded still by the old. I'm going to read this card for you, which is the centering card. Never leave your center. Count your bad points as well as your good. Just exactly like I was saying before, everything serves, nothing goes wasted. What is good and what is bad what is good and what is bad are most often purely relative. If you sense a weakness within yourself, explore it, which is exactly what we were talking before. You're not negative, you're not toxic, you're not lower vibrational. If you feel you have negative traits about you or what you judge as negative traits, explore it, feel it. Even when it comes down to fear, every time most enlightened people or people that misinterpret enlightened scripture say, be without fear, be without fear, be without fear. But then they don't want to talk about anything that it's in regard to fear. And it's called avoidance. But a person that is truly without fear, an enlightened master, will have overcome fear and would have tell you there is nothing to fear because he would have experienced that. Being without fear is foolish. It makes you do irresponsible things, and this is not a time for irresponsibility. But analyzing fear, keeping it close, and overcome it makes you responsible, makes you courageous, makes you a leader. A leader of what? Of your own reality. And especially makes you centered and makes you say there is nothing to fear. Not because you're bypassing, but because you have overcome that emotion. And that is why we came here. We came how to learn to master emotion, not to avoid them. Very great lesson right now for all of you, for all of us. It may become the source of your greatest strength. A lot of the parts of our shadows are simply parts that we didn't enlighten and we didn't know how fantastic they were about us. As you sit like a sacred Buddha amid the pandemonium of your life, watch out for this sentence. As you sit like a sacred Buddha, because that's what you are. You are an infinite being, a multidimensional being having a human experience. Amid the pandemonium of your life. You could address the sentence to the entire world right now. Always remember that the situation or person who has the ability to upset you the most, to pull you off center, is your greatest teacher in the process of centering. This entire experience is our greatest teacher to center ourselves back, to understand the truth in a multifaceted way. It's not just about us, it is all connected, and you are probably already seeing that, and you're going to see that even more. Is your greatest teacher in the process of centering. Such negativity can become your addiction. How many people develop anxiety as an addiction? How many people develop codependent behaviors because they are in fear of being alone? This is a perfect time to heal that and not to judge yourself, bringing yourself forgiveness and compassion, because those are the shortcuts to enlightenment. How many times we develop addiction of any kind, which is only a physical expression of trying to fill a void. I'm thinking, for example, about drugs or about alcohol or about even food addiction. It is about eating, binge eating or not eating. This sense of lack. We want to something desperately to fill that hole within ourselves that we will all feel. We are all feeling that since the time we are born. Why? Because we don't remember who we are. We feel separate to what is eternal. But when we realize in that centeredness that we are not separate from the eternal life, we are not separate from source, the source even of your being, diseases, or rather addiction, stress, which is one of the prominent reasons why we get sick most of the time, can fade away. Very, very important as a message. Center yourself in your power and release your need for constant distraction from your center. Another message that I'm hearing for a lot of you guys, for a lot of us, it is to prioritize. Why do we always need to be so distracted with our phone, with social media, with what other people think, what other people are perceiving us to be, what other people are doing? But what about us? What about what we want? What about shutting all of this thing down? Sometimes even information, watch it once, how do you say, once in a while, or rather one time a day, especially right now, and then turn it off and look at yourself and your home and your entire environment and say, okay, this is happening, but where I am right now, which doesn't mean that you don't care to what is happening to other people. No, you're responsible. You do care. You are aware, but you're not letting what is happening around you distracting and hurting you on a deeper level. Because once you do that, once you cultivate that healthy boundaries, you can be helpful to other people as well. You cannot be helpful to anybody, not even yourself, if you come from a damaged place. If you come from a damaged place, this is a time for healing, forgiveness, and self-compassion. And then you will be the warrior that will help others. Sometimes we are going to be required to help others if we're not healed. And that is what is going to get to healing. Don't judge where you are. Witness where you are and act accordingly. Let's see what is the last card. All right. The grief, inevitable. And this is number 19. 9 plus 1 is 10. The manifestation, it reminds me of the 10 swords. The grief, the pain, but at the same time, through death, we are reborn. No matter whether it's physical death or not, or it's metaphorical death. Through death, we are reborn. Sometimes in this Western society, we get so far away from death that we almost think that we are immortal on a physical level. We think that our egos are immortal, but rather if we would confront death as an ultimate reality, as an ultimate experience, we will also understand the meaning of it, which we are witnessing. And it's not easy. It's going to bring pain. It's going to bring grief. It's going to push out our fears, me including, everybody that has a body, because the body reacts physically to fear, but we can overcome it. And we can see death has the doorway to a different dimension, to a different experience. We can free our mind, our soul, and our body from feeling paralyzed and stopped from grief. We can utilize these emotions to transform them in something better for us and for the world. And we are all facing that. Grief deepens you. It allows you to explore the perimeters of your soul. Isn't that true? Every time we are inside of our comfort zone and we are happy, as sad as it is, sometimes we get immense spiritual epiphanies, but let's face it, this is not how humans grow. This is not how we are wired in a way. Even our physical body is not wired in that way. It's in the midst of the challenges. It is in the most dark time that we arrive to our greatest epiphanies and our greatest realization of our soul and our internal experience. It is a fact. We give the best in challenges. That doesn't mean that our life has to be a constant challenge, but it means we can look at this reality, this fact, in an objective way. Grief is the only pathway to a certain level of consciousness. That card said it, I didn't say it. And it has and it is a hard task to master, absolutely. Through grief, you can explore every aspect of your dark side. Anger, pain, abandonment, terror, loneliness. And these are aspects of sacred wound that in our daily lives we usually try to ignore. We always try to ignore. We even try to ignore what happened in a past life. But somehow we have these physical symptoms that we don't even know where they come from. It is all that we are redigging, rediscovering, and trying to heal with incarnations. Grief forces you to look at those parts of yourself that are not yet healed. I'm not going to repeat myself. The pain of grief is not the only teacher in this life, but if looked at properly with awareness and an open heart, it is one of the greatest teachers of all. The seeds of wisdom and enlightenment are planted within the wounds of grief. What is lost can only come back to us again in higher ways. And this is the prominent energy that we are facing right now. Like the autumn and like the trees shedding the leaves, we are shedding an old paradigm and we are entered the future, not knowing what will be next, but knowing in our heart that everything will be fine. This is my weekly spirit guide message. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want a private reading, the link is down below. That will lead you directly to my Etsy shop, and see you on the next video. And in the meantime, keep in mind, you're never wrong if you follow love.